Coming up, new plants with or without pain, all from Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan.
If you really want to have less karma and cause less pain, less suffering, and less sorrow for the plants, you can choose. You can select some special plants or special fruits to eat. I have done a little research into the kinds of vegetables and fruits that have no pain at all when you cut them or pluck them to eat. It's not a complete list. A rough rule is if the vegetable or plant you take food from contains mostly water, or their body is just made of fiber, such as the like of the banana plant, then it is most likely that they are painless, though there are exceptions.
Warning: these plants are toxic if ingested. Use only externally. Do not eat and keep out of reach of children. No pain and have pain plants. N equals no pain. P equals have pain. Selections from Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan. Soapweed yuccas, US grown. Type 1, grown in Colorado, N. Type 2, grown in Colorado, N. Type 3, grown in Colorado, N. Type 4, grown in Colorado, N. Type 5, grown in Montana, N. Type 6, grown in Montana, N. Type 7, grown in New Mexico, N. Type 8, grown in New Mexico, N. Type 9, grown in Kansas, N. Type 10, grown in Oklahoma, N. Type 11, grown in North Dakota, N. Type 12, grown in South Dakota, N. Czech grown, Type 1, N. Type 2, N. Indian grown, Type 1, N. Type 2, N. Serbian grown, Type 1, N. Type 2, N. Austrian grown, N. British grown, N. Canadian grown, grown in Alberta, N. Dutch grown, N. Estonian grown, N. French grown, N. Hungarian grown, N. Japanese grown, N. Kyrgyz grown, N. Latvian grown, N. Polish grown, N. Swedish grown, N.
Soapworts, US grown. Type 1, grown in Pennsylvania, N. Type 2, grown in California, N. Type 3, grown in Massachusetts, N. Type 4, grown in Oregon, N. Type 5, grown in Virginia, N. Type 6, grown in Texas, N. British grown. Type 1, grown in Merseyside, N. Type 2, grown in Essex, N. Type 3, grown in Anglesey, N. Type 4, grown in Wales, N. Argentine grown. Type 1, grown in Santa Cruz, N. Type 2, grown in La Costa, N. Canadian grown. Type 1, grown in British Columbia, N. Type 2, grown in Alberta, N. Type 3, grown in Ontario, N. Type 4, grown in Ontario, N. French grown. Type 1, grown in Nouvelle Aquitaine, N. Type 2, grown in Nouvelle Aquitaine, N. German grown. Type 1, grown in Saxony-Anhalt, N. Type 2, grown in Niedersachsen, N. Polish grown. Type 1, grown in Kuavian Pomeranian, N. Type 2, N. South African grown. Type 1, grown in Limpopo, N. Type 2, grown in Mpumalanga, N. Russian grown. Type 1, grown in Nizhny Novgorod, N. Type 2, grown in Primorsky Krai, N. Type 3, grown in Sverdlovsk, N. Australian grown. Grown in New South Wales, N. Austrian grown. Grown in Styria, N. Belgian grown. Grown in Wallonie, N. Czech grown, N. Danish grown. Grown in Neuland, N. Dutch grown, N. Finnish grown. South Karelia, N. Greek grown, N. Israeli grown, N. Italian grown. Grown in Vicenza, N. Japanese grown. Grown in Nagano, N. Portuguese grown in Guarda, N. Romanian grown, N. South Korean grown, N. Spanish grown in Asturias, N. Swedish grown in Stockholm, N. Taiwanese grown, N. Ukrainian grown in Cherkasy, N.
Horse chestnuts, Belgian grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. British grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, grown in Suffolk, N. Type 4, grown in Oxfordshire, N. Danish grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Siddenmark, N. Canadian grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in British Columbia, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, grown in Quebec, N. French grown, type 1, grown in Nièvre, N. Type 2, grown in Avignon, N. Dutch grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Nederland-Eint, N. Type 3, grown in North Brabant, N. Type 4, grown in Groningen, N. Hungarian grown, type 1, grown in Baranya, N. Type 2, grown in Boschord-Abuizemplen, N. German grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Nordrhein-Westfalen, N. Type 3, grown in Hessen, N. Type 4, grown in Bayern, N. Irish grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Cashel, N. Italian grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Polish grown, type 1, grown in Powiat Wejherowski, N. Type 2, grown in Pachina, N. Russian grown, type 1, grown in Leningrad Oblast, N. Type 2, grown in Moscow, N. Spanish grown, type 1, grown in Soria, N. Type 2, grown in Huesca, N. Swiss grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Thurgau, N. Turkish grown, type 1, grown in Istanbul, N. Type 2, N. Czech grown, type 1, grown in Prague, N. Type 2, grown in Prague, N. Type 3, grown in South Bohemian, N. Austrian grown, N. Chilean grown, N. Croatian grown, N. US grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, grown in Oregon, N. Japanese grown, N. Jordanian grown, N. Mexican grown, N. New Zealand grown in Christchurch, N. Portuguese grown in Lisboa, N. Romanian grown in Covasna, N. Saudi grown, N. Swedish grown in Stockholm County, N.
Soapberries, Vietnamese grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Thanh Hoa, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, N. Type 7, N. Type 8, N. Mexican grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Brazilian grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, N. Chinese grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, grown in Sichuan, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, grown in Guangxi, N. Indian grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, grown in Telangana, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, N. Indonesian grown, type 1, grown in Magalang, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, N. Japanese grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Type 6, N. Taiwanese grown, type 1, grown in Hualien, N. Type 2, grown in Miaoli, N. Type 3, grown in Taipei, N. Type 4, grown in Tainan, N. Type 5, grown in Kaohsiung, N. Type 6, grown in Tainan, N. Thai grown, type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N. Type 4, N. Type 5, N. Belizean grown, N. US grown, type 1, N. Type 2, grown in Oklahoma, N. Type 3, grown in Oklahoma, N. Type 4, grown in Texas, N. Type 5, grown in Texas, N. Jamaican grown, N. Nepalese grown, type 1, grown in Darchula, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, grown in Gorka, N. Peruvian grown, N. South Korean grown, N. Type 1, N. Type 2, N. Type 3, N.
For more no-pain foods that can help us minimize pain and suffering caused to other beings,
including an existing list free for download, please visit suprememastertv.com/no pain food.